think when addressing the question about racial, cultural, and economic barriers and how they may have prevented me from accessing resources, I feel that I'm perceived by most people as being a black man in America, which comes with a number of barriers in daily settings. You know, I've been followed in stores, I've seen people cross the street grabbing their purses, racially profiled by police, but I'm actually biracial, and my mother is Italian and Jewish, my father's Black American, and for me the barrier has come partially from my process of discovering my own identity, and that's not a barrier that I've created, but it's somewhat an institutional barrier in America. I think the real barriers started to present themselves when I began to develop as an artist, and I went to film school, and all of my films at NYU were about the Black experience, and I went and studied abroad in Africa because I was craving part of my own identity that I felt was lacking, that the institutional level in America really strips away from people that are sort of in my situation. That is just being a person of color in America and trying to find an identity for yourself. And the barriers came along with my colleagues, my peers, even my professors, when I wanted to create films that dealt with these issues and dealt with Black stories and dealt with my own story and my own identity and my own desire to sort of explore that identity through filmmaking. And when I came out of that time, when I came out of NYU, I was in education and I was living in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn, one of the poorest neighborhoods, highest crime rates in New York City. And you know, at that time I kind of went from middle class to poor class, and I had a new understanding about economic barriers. And so I've had all of these experiences that have been their own barriers, and I've had to overcome them. But you know, as an educator, you have to deal with these things, and people not being prepared to really talk about race and what our students were going through when we were working in Brooklyn. So for me, the barrier is institutional. It's what does it mean for a person of color to have to navigate their own identity in America? That itself comes with a multitude of barriers, and you know, for me the answer is filmmaking, and I really hope that I can work as a fellow with the folks at Brave New Films at that institution, you know, where they're committed to discussing race and other forms of oppression and ways that we can use filmmaking as a tool to inform and liberate ourselves from those forms of oppression. So I'm really excited for this opportunity, and I thank you again.